that is on the north side of the library on Old 20, or First as we go. I'd like to give you some background and highlight some dates about this regarding the library board. In September of 2012, this is when it was kind of first brought to our attention as a library board that there's heavy traffic, that the crosswalk would seemingly be dangerous for pedestrians, especially children who are crossing. At that time, we decided to get on the city council agenda for the meeting, and we did in October of 2012 address this issue with the city council. In November of 2012, a pedestrian safety panel was formed, and they held their first meeting within that month. And by June of 2013, the panel had created a plan for the area and gave us a letter addressing some of the suggestions in ways in which they could install things to help. It was in a preferred order, and there was no clear timeline on the letter at that time. Obviously, the problem we saw at that time was that instead of meeting all of our needs, it was going to meet just the needs in which they felt were important, not necessarily all the needs that needed to be met. Also, with not having a timeline, we had nothing to give back to the community as far as when all of this would take place. Some of the items that were on the list from the safety panel included yield signage, pedestrian crossing painted in the east-west traffic lane, LED raised pavement markers, solar caution flashing there's caution or crossing signs, or even an overhead flashing caution light. There's more, and I can give you a list or the original letter of those if you're interested. Unfortunately, that was in June of 2013. Fast forward to March 13th, 2014, where our worst fear became a reality. Aaron Schonk, age 6, was hit at the intersection in front of the library. He suffered a skull fracture and was airlifted to the University of Iowa Hospital. This obviously is a tragic moment, especially considering that we had been addressing the need for this crosswalk to be made more safe for the pedestrians. In response to the accident, 2 library board members met with representatives from the city council to readdress the safety concern, and a letter which I know y'all received from us just this last month, urging you to consider installing pedestrian activated caution lights or overhead caution lights to better warn the drivers of the dangerous intersection. While we feel that painting the crosswalks is great and putting signs up is great, warning the children to look both ways before they cross the street, as we teach them at a very young age, we need to warn the drivers that may not be aware that there are children crossing there. The library is one of the most popular gathering places for children in the city. Many attend our programs and enjoy our resources, and many of them walk or ride their bikes to the library, often having to cross one of the busiest streets in Independence. We believe it is the responsibility of our city to make every effort to ensure the safety of all our citizens, especially the youngest and most vulnerable among us. Caution lights would help pedestrians move safely, conveniently, and predictably across this heavily traveled roadway. In our opinion, caution lights will better alert drivers to expect crossing pedestrians and to direct pedestrians to desirable crossing locations, thus providing safe passage for all. We applaud your efforts to give us the recommendations. What we're requesting is that we move on this as quickly and swiftly as possible. Summer is right around the corner. The library program starts in June. School's lit out in May. We'd really like to have a timeline that we can get out to our community so that we can better answer their questions when they ask us, what are you doing to make sure that area is safe for our children? Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Anybody on the board that was involved in this have any comments or things that are being worked on?
We did bring this up a couple of years ago, and the problem was is we were told it was too expensive to move the stoplight.
At that time. And I thought we left it flashing for the purpose to try to slow some traffic so people would be aware of their needing to be more cautious. I don't know where the library sign's at that point, but I know that's what's my understanding why we left it flashing rather than taking it down. So, anybody that's on the committee or this panel she's talking about?
I wasn't on the panel. I'll wait until whoever else was addressed.
No, all of these items have been addressed at one time or another with the pedestrian safety panel, with the then Streets, Alleys, and Sidewalks Committee. And the idea behind all of this was to take it into graduated stage rather than just dropping $10,000 to $15,000 on moving a stoplight to make it or just to change it over to a flashing yellow light. Did not seem to be a wise move at the time. We did, as of last summer, we put the broader continental crosswalks in there, and there was some signage that was supposed to be in place last summer that was not. However, in the incident that you're referring to, that accident, nothing would have saved that young man from being hit by that car by any signage or whatever. The effect of the flashing yellow light at 9th Street actually slowed the driver down, because as this individual was coming west on 1st Street, hit that yellow light, slowed down at that point, and estimated going 20, 25 miles an hour when the vehicle hit the child. The child darted from the driveway, not even at a crosswalk. So there isn't anything that would have, no flashing light, no anything at that particular time would have saved that young man, except his listening to his siblings who were yelling at him not to cross the intersection, to wait, but he didn't. So we have, the signage is going to be put in, I think, within the month. The crosswalks will be painted as they should be, hopefully with a little bit more durable paint. So it's, that we're moving ahead with it at this point.
What kind of sign are they gonna put up there, Jimmy?
They're a long sign that says, stop pedestrians in crosswalk. It's against the law to obviously go through the crosswalk.
There's not gonna be a flashing sign?
Not yet.
Is it on 8th Street that you want some kind of a sign? It's the main street that comes down, right?
It's the whole thing. It's right there.
8th Street, yeah.
They want it on First.
How does that, pardon?
First and 8th. Yeah.
1st and 8th, yeah. 8th is the one that comes straight down right into the medical center. Yeah.
Yeah.
But how does that interact with the bike route? Is it off a block or?
It's a block. The bike route is a block
It's a
west
block
or
west.
east of that intersection.
No, it'd be a block.
Yeah.
East. It's a block east of the intersection.
And part of the
9th Avenue is where the route takes place. It starts up.
And part of the difficulty is the fact that the driveway coming out of the library is not straight with the street, that there's an angle, and so it's hard to figure out exactly where to put a sign that's gonna do the right thing, and then the walkway is not right there where the driveway's at, it's over more in front of Cedar Valley Hospice.
As a matter of fact, in order to accommodate that one angle on the northeast corner of 8th and 1st, we had to angle the crosswalk from that one single little parking space in front of
Cedar
Hospice.
Valley, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the status is. The ideal place would be to go straight out from that parking stall.
Yeah.
In front of Hospice and go right straight across the street. That'd be ideal. But I don't know what that status of that parking stall, if that's being used on a regular basis, or I don't recall ever seeing a car there.
Oh, that one driveway area?
Yeah,
I've
by the
seen
front door.
vehicles in there on occasion.
Right.
Not a lot, but
No.
they have been there.
I mean, that'd be the ideal place. That'd line it up, straighten everything out.
Which is where it is, I think.
Place for a ramp there, but.
Yeah, it comes
It line it up very straight.
It lines up,
Yeah,
just to the east of, right at that, at the driveway.
yeah. So, you get it as straight as possible, but, I think as you can see, there's the majority of the library board is here tonight in support of this, of our request. And, our concern is to move quickly forward on getting it safe as possible.
Yes.
And I think the ultimate ideal is to have some kind of a light that the pedestrian light where they can punch a button and they'll stop traffic so they can safely cross.
What's, since a lot of us are new to this, what's the next step on this, decisions of where we're going?
The sign's going up.
Okay, then
Should have been up
what's-
actually last summer, and
What's
there
after
are, there are those one signs that have the little triangle or little tent at the top that have the two figures in them that are the bright yellow or green or whatever color they are. Have never been moved from where they were from the original school crossing indication. They need to be moved further west to support the library, and actually a little bit closer west on the east side of the library, in order to more identify themselves for that particular area. Plus, that sign, it says, like I said, it says state law stop for figures in the crosswalk, within the crosswalk. And there'll be one in each direction, east and west, and then one coming up from 8th Avenue as well.
Okay, then after that, what's the ultimate goal here of having
Well,
at this place? Light,
From
stop light?
the library point of view, the ideal goal would be to have a pedestrian light that they could punch the button. They're taught at very, very young age that this is the proper way to do it. You punch the button, it'll turn red, stop the traffic, you can go through across safely. That would be the ultimate solution